No, I think, and this is specifically talking for Unilever, we have exactly the same problem. If people ask me what keeps you awake at night, is exactly the talent issue. It's the idea that, yes, I have a strategy, but I have nobody to execute it. You come into the office and you have heard, oh, he has resigned, she has resigned. So that is really, this is an enormous stress factor here. There is a rarity of talent. The turnover rates, first of all, turnover rates fluctuate wildly. So whilst there's figures quoted of 25%, it fluctuates wildly between disciplines. That's one thing, for marketing and sales being very high, and for supply chain, for example, being much less. It fluctuates wildly between companies, but it also fluctuates wildly between periods. If you are on a winning streak, your retention rate shoot up. Whilst in the first half of last year, for example, we had a turnover rates of higher than 25%, it fell to single digit in the second half. And year to date we are still single digit, but it's picking up. And why is that? That is because people want to be on the winning horse. So the moment, as long as they feel that they're riding a winning horse, the retention rate really goes down. So it is a little bit of a chicken and an egg situation. If you are a winning company, it's easier to retain your people. If you retain your people, it's easier to be a winning company. And it's very easy to get in a downward spiral on that, or in an upward spiral on it. There's already made several references as to what you can do on people, so I'm not going to repeat that, what all the things that you can do to really make retention more likely. When it comes to the tie-up with universities, we have no specific tie-up, also because in terms of priorities, our priority is not the finding talent. Our priority is really retention of talent. Every year we take in between 40 and 50 graduates, and they are all bright and they're all well educated, so I'm not particularly saying that I'm not happy with the quality of the intake. The issue is, how do you bring them from intake to the quality of the people you need 5 years from there, 10 years from there. There again, the issue is not so much skills, I believe, but it's more about competencies. The competencies of working in a modern company environment, how to deal with challenge, how to deal with creativity, how to deal with teamwork, etc. And again, you have there a situation of the chicken or the egg. If you have succeeded in creating an environment where these competencies are vividly present, it is of course very easy for training newcomers to acquire these competencies. Many companies like ours have a history of joint ventures, have a patchwork of cultures in their own culture, and therefore we find it particularly difficult to retain young talent, and our retention rates are too low. So if I would say, if one of the things, the conclusions I have come after 1 year in China, still being fresh, I have come to the conclusion that what we need is a much stronger tying internal culture. You must define a strong culture, and it takes a bit of courage as a foreign manager to define that culture, because on the one hand you don't want to be culturally insensitive, and on the other hand you have a strong desire to have a clearly defined culture. After a year I found the courage to actually start doing that, and I'm sure, I think that if you have these principles and these cultures well defined, it becomes a rallying point for retaining this talent.
Retention, you have many ways of doing it, like Chris said. In China is people retention probably the #1 purpose for most of the HR function that we have. In terms of tying with universities, we do several things. We go to the school and talk to the graduate. We talk to them long before they graduate from school. We get our senior management to go teach classes. They'll have like this kind of a one-on-one dialogue with a lot of graduates, and we select a lot of top talent graduates to come to the company, and then you have a so-called a career plan for them, and you kind of introduce them. Not just they're like sponge. They're very good at absorbing new knowledges, but what I found in new talent in younger generation for China, you need to teach them how to communicate. How to communicate with outside world, because all multinationals, we cannot just work within China. You also teach them how to work as a teamwork, because the one-child policy, a lot of them grow up with a single child. It's very difficult for them to work in a teamwork environment. And we have continuing education. Some of these are tied to the Education Institute. Some of these are tied to universities as well. And also another program is actually highly utilized as a retention is MBA classes. A lot of young Chinese talent would like to get an MBA degree. So we use that as part of the training for the top talent as well as a retention purpose. And one thing I think is just you have to be very focused. You have to be continuous to doing this, and the execution is the key. You know, any program you set up, you have to continue to do this. You cannot say this year I do it, next year I don't. What I really admire Mr. Lai when we're in Motorola is we have good time, we have bad time. As a company, sometimes you make a lot of money, sometimes the product doesn't sell as fast. So if you have a commitment on training and raising your top talent, you need to set aside your budget every year and do that first. And so people know this is what they're going to get in this company. And this is how you're going to be able to retain the talent, and the talent that you have trained for, you have basically selected for will be your very important key person for you to develop your business in this country.
If you look at the labor market, you probably can generally divide it into three groups: the entry level, the mid level, and the senior level. For a senior level, it doesn't make much of a difference because there's skill and resource talents around. So if you look at any corporations, top layer made up of a mix of foreigner and the local business. Okay, and at that level, the so-called the cost, the pay, those are not that matter because their impact to the company is so much greater than what the company paid in terms of the salary. So the company will go out and find the best talent that they can find, whether in China or in a foreign country. Okay. So at the top level, there are very little, I would say, development activity that we provide that can make an impact there. And look at the middle level. That's where the crunch is in China. If you look at the middle level, anywhere from 5 years and above, this is where you have the highest turnover rate. People have the certain experience, especially in multinational corporations. A lot of companies want to hire them. Okay, those who come to China, they want to have a ready-made talent, so they hire those people. The local company with the high ambitions, they go out and hire those people. So this is where the crunch is, where you need to pay a lot of attention and develop these people. If you look at the bottom, where the entry level or anywhere between 0 to 3 years, there's a lot of them in China. Okay, a dime a dozen in China. Okay, there's so many graduates come out from the university today that you can pick. You can pick and choose what you want. Okay, there's so many of them. So at the bottom level, you don't have to really worry about anything. So you focus your energy in the middle level. That's where we are doing right now. Now, to develop these middle level people, we have a policy called 2 by 2 by 2 by 5. The 2 stands for like 2 regions and 2 business and 2 functions, and the 5, there's a 5 different criteria. One of the criteria is how to turn around a business, or you manage a startup business, or manage a P&L business, something like that, to grow this group of people. So you're not just providing the educational opportunity, but you're also providing different experience, rotational experience within the company. That's how we develop our talent in there. Now, tying up with the local companies to do a lot of I know it's very popular in China, is that tie up with a local university or work with a foreign university to come up with an EMBA program, MBA program, or PhD program. We don't do that. We did that a few years ago. We end up with like 10 candidates and end up in 10 different universities. So you don't really get any value out of it because everyone goes to a different direction and they learn different things from different universities. So we decided to stop about 3 years ago as a company. We decided to stop everything, and we have only one program, that is that we work with Illinois University, Kelly Business School. So we do have one MBA program, but that is a company-defined program we have a strategic alliance with them. Whatever that we want these candidates to go through, we put into this MBA program. So we don't tie up with any local university, simply because of we did it and the paper is not there.
I want to ask a follow-up question. Many of our participants have come up to me and said, whether there are opportunities for either US or expatriate person to work in China.